So here we are, day four. Day four. I wanna first congratulate all of you for continuing to show up, not to me. It's not about me. It's about you. You're continuing to show up to you because you want more, right? You want more information. You want more of this juice between people. You want more of connecting to your higher power. And so congratulate yourself. I had one Lama who used to say, at night, you need to put one arm over here and congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back, and one arm over here to say, what have I done that could have been corrected today? And with that, both those things, you hug yourself. So maybe just give yourself a hug, like right now. And I want to also thank all the people who are watching the replays all over the world, because I am getting emails from people I haven't heard from in years that are watching these videos and benefiting. That's why I'm doing it, right? I used to do this same workshop to groups of people. I used to do it one-on-one. Actually, all that I'm teaching, I used to teach one-on-one to folks. And then I thought, okay, I want to go one-to-many. So I started doing it in larger groups until I realized I could probably have more impact if I did it over the internet, online, because the information is the information and I want it out, right? I have spent all these years studying it, learning it, embodying it, experiencing it, and I want it out there. So you guys have it. You can change. So you are my peeps. You are my peeps. You are the folks that probably, I'm imagining, but I don't want to generalize here, that you have a more introverted personality in as much as you're conscientious, you're sensitive, you reflect, you go inwardly, find out where your errors are, find out what is stopping you, and then you correct yourself and go out into the world. You gain, an extrovert often gains energy out in groups, and an introvert gains the energy internally and then brings that energy out into a group. So I tend to think of myself as an introvert, but watching myself on these videos and watching myself when I'm working with groups, I am animated, man. However, I know that I need to go inward to reboot my battery. When I reboot my battery, I also need new information. Because as we said previously, we can't correct our problems with the same consciousness that caused the problems. Put another way, you can't change your belief systems with the same belief systems that created that belief, right? So today is all about, how do you want to do this work with me? How do you want to put it into place? How do you want to integrate it into your life? You don't have to be alone anymore. You spent 4 full days, or you're about to spend the 4th day, and there's more, and there's more. And I'm here. I'm so happy to be offering more to you, to the world, to whoever wants it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to recap the last 3 days, and you're going to hear some new information. So get your notebook out and your pens and pencils, and then I'm going to speak a little bit more about what are in the actual modules of the program that's online. So I'm going to talk about both. I'm going to weave my way through so you can kind of understand how to integrate the new information with where you're at now. Sound like a plan? And I think I need to put my hair up now because I'm boiling and I forgot my hair tie. Okay, I've got a hair tie. I don't have a hair clip. There you go. But I put my lipstick on. You see? I got my lipstick on. Okay, here we go. Here, I'm going to put my hair on. Yes, it's spring here in Gold Coast in Australia. But spring here tends to be like 25 to 30 degrees. So I'm feeling the heat. Okay. What is abundance? Let's begin there. What is abundance? So to me, there's 5 prongs to being abundant. Most people think it's about money. Money is one part. It's like 20% of what abundance is, or prosperity. Time. That you're allowed to do what you want when you want. You are the master of your life. That is being abundant in time. Second thing is health. If you don't have your health, then how can you possibly go out and serve the world? How can you possibly receive what it is that the source wants you to receive? If you have broken parts of your health. So being abundant means you're healthy. The third, for me, is a peace of mind. Having that quietude in here. That it's like the committees have stopped. The war has stopped between the lower and the higher self. Right? The chipmunk on the wheel is not going 24/7. We have peace. That is a part of abundance. Relationships. Okay? Now, when I started this work, and I told you part of my story, but in 2006, I think it was, I realized that I had time, I had health, I had money, I had peace of mind, but I didn't have love or relationship with a significant other. So to me, I was not truly abundant and prosperous. And to be honest, that's when I had to go deeper. So any of you who've got all the other four, and relationship is the place where you have resistance or you're stuck. Now we have to go deeper and clear out the wreckage of our past. We have to, do lots of inner child work, do some forgiveness work, etc. But relationships is a part of abundance. Friendships, community, and significant others. Now we know that woundedness happens between the age of 7 and 13 for the sense of belonging, pure belonging. So we can pinpoint that to go back to and put in the antidotes. And I'm going to talk about that shortly and my example personally about some of that. What we're trying to change in us is the poverty mentality, the mindset. You may be well on your way to having an abundant retirement plan, retirement income. You may be abundant in your bank account, but you have a poverty mindset. There's never enough. I'm not enough. I got to do more. And that's what fundamentally has to change. That is that place in us that's motivating us out of fear. It's not enough. I'm not safe. I'm not secure. I got to do more. I got to work harder. I've got to have more relationships. I've got to, fill that void. So that's what I call a poverty mentality. And we have to rewire ourselves. Rewire the sabotage in us. I always say it's like the wires, belief systems are like wires in our head, much like those operators, those phone operators. All of you, I'm sure, are old enough to remember this. On those old movies where at a hotel they have the operators and it's like, yes, may I take your call? It's like, oh, room 101, hold on. And they she puts the wire in room 101. And if you look, there's all these wires crisscrossed all over the place. And for me, that's how I felt internally with my belief systems. They were everywhere. And what I had to do slowly, pull the wire out of one belief system. Look at it, say, do I actually believe that? No. Okay, I let that wire go. Do I actually believe this one? Yes. Okay, I put that wire back, but in the right place. Okay, so we are rewiring ourselves. Don't kid yourself. And it's arduous. You will be tired. You will be sleepy. And then you're going to have a huge boost of energy once some things have shifted energetically. We are working on your DNA. We're not only working on your brain, but we go deeper, even further into your DNA, the makeup of who you are, to shift you to that higher frequency. Remember, like attracts like. Science knows this. Our DNA is shifting. The young ones today, for the last 25 years, have been coming in with more strands on their DNA, more strands open on their DNA. Well, you've heard of indigo babies, you've heard of crystal babies. Well, they have come with a higher consciousness already as a set point. Those of us, in our 40s and 50s, we're working harder to get to that consciousness. So my let's reframe that. When I said to you the other day about recovery programs has 12 steps, the Bible has 10 commandments, and I was kind of wishy-washy with Buddhism, and I came away from my session and I was kind of going, man, come on, Buddhism is like filled with numbers. So I just want to give you some, just to tell you that actually the mind needs structure. And when we have structure, that's when we flourish. And sometimes the mind goes beyond the structure, and that's why we need new structures in place, right? Because we outgrow the old structures. But forever, we're needing some set of principles and guidelines to move us forward. So the Christian ones may not work for you anymore, or half of them might work, and then you need new ones. You need new ones around energy. You need new ones around healing modalities, which some of the religions don't encompass. So that's what I mean about upgrading and changing beliefs. So in Buddhism, for instance, we've got the graduated path to enlightenment. And there are 31 topics within that. And then we've got the Four Noble Truths. And we've got the 8 phases of calming the mind. And we've got the 6 virtues. So we've got all of these in Buddhism. And I'm incorporating all of that. Like you are getting right now, well, I could say easily 27 years of Buddhism. That's how long I've been practicing Tantra Buddhism, right? 30 years of inner reflection with psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists. I saw my first shrink. I'm embarrassed to say this, but when I was 14. I was 14 when I saw my first shrink. And for the next 20, 25 years, I was seeing shrinks and psychiatrists, psychologists to figure this place out. And to say about the Buddhism, those 31 chapters, I studied for 7 years, okay? And I was examined orally on that stuff. And I don't tell this lightly, but I'm going to share it with you because you're my peeps. But we did do a final exam after 7 years, and we had little tests the whole way through, but I got over 90% on that final exam, and I hate exams. I hate tests. And I was so worried and so freaked because there is the 8 of this and the 6 of that and the 4 of this, and what about this, and how many types of laziness are there, and what do we do with this kind of compassion, and how many types of loving kindness are there? And so we had to know it all, right? And like I say, I was orally examined in front of a group of 30 people by my Lama. So that's just to say, I got a lot here to give. You know that already. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. What I'm wanting for you is to move from being an expert to a master eventually. So right now, this training is about becoming an expert in your finances and your spirit and how they come together. And an expert is about receiving the information and then knowing what to do and how to apply it quickly. After that, we go into the mastery stage. But it takes a good, I would say, 10 years in order to become that expert. What do we say? 10,000 hours. That's Blink, can't remember his name, but 10,000 hours to perfect anything, or not even to perfect, what's the word? Help me here, guys. Give me some words. Dang. Apprentice. That's what I'm talking. Apprentice. And then we move to mastery. Here, I'm wanting you to get some of that expert experience and put it into play. So who here, raise your hands, wants to learn about the expert way of life on finances and spirit? Just give me a thumbs up or a yep or a Y for yes, that's me. Right? Excellent. I see it. Nice. There's a no in there. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not a no. Okay, let's recap. Okay. Because there's so much to say, guys. So much. And my bum will get sore. Your bum will get sore. We'll stretch at some point because, we're physical beings. To begin, pillar 1. all right? As I said, relationship to self. Now, there are 6 levels of this relationship to self. I mentioned that before. I'm going to tell you what they are. The first level is being unclear, all right? This can be being in despair. You can be suicidal. Second level, false. You lie to yourself. You don't see life as it truly is. So there's self-deception, delusion. Then we get an awakening where there's modicum of clarity. It's just the awakening, like, well, maybe I'm not so stupid. Well, maybe I actually am a good parent. Fourth stage, clarity arises. Pure, pristine clarity. I am good. I am worthy. That deep sense of clarity. Then we move into stunning, absolute stunning level of relationship to self, where you can rely on yourself, you trust yourself, you have faith in yourself and the divine. And what I want to say about each of these levels is it correlates to a connection to the divine as well. And then lastly, you are in an absolute state of being. And what that means is you are able every day without question, to walk in both realities without effort. You don't have to even think about it. You are embodying it. And each of these stages also correlate to how far out into the world you are. So the first couple, you may actually be at home, quiet with yourself. You may have a job, but internally you won't let people see inside of you. Levels 1 and 2. Level 3, you've got family around you. You may be able, at this point, when you have this clarity, modicum of clarity, you're out in the world now working with community groups, maybe a civic committee. Then when you move into clarity and stunning level of clarity, you're moving nationally. Okay, so you're working nationally with people. And then from stunning to absolute, you're able to stand in the world in your empowerment with absolute certainty and clarity about not only what you're teaching, what you are, and your purpose in the world. So that's those 6 levels of relationship to self correlates how much out in the world you can be. One of the key things in this first pillar, this relationship to self, is to know when you're defaulting into your fight, flight, freeze, and how to pivot out into flow. And often with that pivot, there's going to be guilt and shame. There's going to be the animal reflexes. And we have to learn how to shift out of them through mechanisms and techniques like emotional freedom technique, like mind gems, like writing things out. All right. So I have 9 steps on how to move out of, when you're out of alignment, how to move back into alignment quickly. I don't know about you, but I like things quick. Other thing about pillar 1 that I didn't speak a lot about, or at all, is about conflict. Now, conflict is actually a good thing. So is anybody there? Because the last one, I didn't get any thumbs up. So I'm wondering if I'm not recording or you're not hearing me. Conflict, who likes conflict? Nope. Yep. Nope. I sure didn't. I was a conflict avoider. I avoided it, and I ran away from it. I fled it until I learned it was a good thing. Struggle is not good. What conflict is that one person's belief systems is actually butting up against another person's belief systems. And we think we all have to have the same beliefs, but we don't. What we do have to do is honor and hear each other's belief systems to move to a higher place. We have been trained, though, to fight, flight, or freeze when somebody is in disagreement with us. And so we shut it down. We agree when we don't actually agree, right? Or we fight for our opinion. Struggle is fighting and what we say, wearing the carpet out, standing still. Don't want it. So conflict being a good thing. I speak about this actually in the first module of this program that I'm going to be talking to you about. Pillar 2, relationship to source energy. Relationship to source energy. Here we are learning to tame the mind the thoughts, the ego that gets in the way between us and our relationship to the divine. Or, put another way, us, our small self, in relationship to our higher self. And often we think God's out there, Buddha's out there, the divine's out there. And if we think that, there's this huge gap that we feel we have to fill. And instead, come to know that the divine is as close as your breath. It is as close between you and the book that you're reading, right? That's how close the divine is. But we dart off with our thoughts, and we have to bring the mind back to the breath, to the present moment, because that's where the source lives, in the present. Not in the future, and certainly not in the past. And that's what the mind does. It moves into the future, and it dwells on the past, instead of cleaning the mind out to stay in the present tense. So relationship to source is paramount, absolutely paramount. Now here we have 8 stages of calming the mind, and I didn't go through them previously. These are the stages of mind development where you can actually calibrate where you're at on the path by how long you can sustain concentration on your breath or an object. So the object, your mind will go off, come back to your object. So with time, you can see the mind stay on the object for longer and longer periods of time, which means you're able to sustain the divine presence within your body for longer and longer periods of time. Make sense? Cool. 17 seconds. And I apologize for me having to look down. I have notes. I have to have notes. There's just way, way, way too much. 17 seconds. This is the law of attraction. Abraham speaks this. If you can hold a thought for 17 seconds without interruption, you will be able to manifest what it is you are focusing on within 2 weeks. You eradicate 2 weeks worth of hard work. Oh, I want to work. I got to get it. If you can focus your mind and work on your mind to sustain the thought for 17 seconds. If you can sustain a thought for 68 seconds, you eradicate 2 years of physical labor or arduous work, as we know it, the efforting. I personally chose early on to effort with my mind as opposed to efforting with my body. Now, to tell you what enlightenment is, according to that structure, it is sustaining a thought continuously for 7 minutes. Not 17 seconds, not 68 seconds, 7 minutes. Wow. Okay, so under this relationship to source, you also are going to come into the divine source within. And this is where the mantra, please write this down. I am enough. I have enough. I do enough. And until I am enough, nothing or no one will be enough. I am enough just the way I am right now. Okay? You are enough right now. And what the contradiction can be is, well, if I'm enough right now, then why do I have to study more? If I'm enough right now, then why do I, etc. This is because spirit wants to expand. It desires expansion. That is one of the properties of energy, is about expansion. Again, I deal with this in module 1 about the properties of energy, because we are energetic beings, right? And if we know what the properties of energy are, we can work with that as opposed against it. We are part of the universe, and there are laws of the universe. part of the relationship to source. I'm going to scoot right over here just a sec because I forgot some props, but they're right here. So just give me 2 seconds. Okay, I'm back. The mind has 2 propensities. One is very energetic, lots and lots of energy. And we call this the monkey part of our mind. These are the thoughts that go off to the left and the right. See a little monkey? A little baby monkey. You can have a big monkey. Big thoughts. They're jumping all over the place. And what do? We follow the thought over here and over there. We act on the thought. Instead of saying, I'm having a thought. I don't have to believe it. I can let it go. The other propensity of the mind is to be slow and plodding, and very gray and heavy. We call this the elephant part of the mind. So in society right now, we've got the monkey part, which is left to the extreme, anxiety. Then we have the elephant part, and if it's taken to the extreme, we call this depression. So what are the 2 biggest ailments in Western society right now? Anxiety and depression. And it's through the breath and the connection to source that these 2 things are going to get tamed. That we're going to come into love these parts of ourselves, understand them, not follow them and believe them and think that we're a depressive and think that we're an anxious person. It's a part of us. So right here in the little chat box, and if you're on Facebook Live, right, I want to hear, which is your propensity? Gray, slow, plodding, falling asleep, depressed, hypervigilant, anxious, always moving around. Monkey. I want to hear. I'm going to wait just to see. Take a drink of my water. Depends on my mood. Yep. Busy monkey. I got it. Monkey. Yeah. We got a lot of monkeys in the world. And we have, yep, there's an elephant. Yeah, got it. It takes the whole world. And it depends on the situation, can be both, can be, like it can vacillate between one or the other because it's all our mind, it's all energy. Moving on, pillar 3. This is where we are in relationship to others. This is when we learn about we didn't cause somebody else's dysfunction. We can't control their dysfunction, and we're not going to cure it. Okay? Whether they're alcoholic, rageaholic, whether they're anxious, whether they're sucked into their anxiety and their depression, we're not going to cure it. We didn't cause it, even though they may say we have, right? Nix that. No, you cannot cause anybody else's pain. And you're not going to be able to control it. So those 3 C's. The other thing that we're taught early on in our dysfunctional family of origin is you don't talk about it. You don't talk about it with people, what you're feeling. Second thing is you don't feel it, especially in early childhood. Later in life, it starts to come up. It bubbles up. If whatever's been repressed, it's got to come out. So we got to feel. But the cardinal rule in dysfunction is you don't feel. Now we have to learn to feel. And the third, you don't talk, you don't feel, you don't trust. Early on, we learned that our trust got broken again and again and again. And so now, what we have to repair is not only trust of others, but trust of ourselves. And trust in the divine that it will always be there for us. So the 3 C's and the don't talk, don't trust, don't feel, or talk, trust, feel now. And I went over the garden analogy of staying within your garden, tending your own garden, nurturing your own garden, fertilizing your own garden, and not poking your nose over into other people's gardens. And if people are poking their nose in your garden, you're allowed to say, you're in my garden, please leave me alone. You're also allowed to open the gate to allow others in to your garden and witness your beauty. Or if they ask, would you like to come and help me? They're opening their gate into their garden, right? Very powerful analogy. Putting the boundaries up, challenging. Okay, so in module 2, I start talking about boundaries, how to shift your boundary for safety, security, health, all of that stuff. It's your energy. You're responsible for your happiness. You're responsible for your peace. You must put up boundaries. Pillar 3 is also dealing, Pillar 3 is also dealing with other people's dysfunction. And we learn how to pivot out of situations when you know they're going loopy. And you don't have to buy in to rescue them. You don't have to people please. You don't have to approval seek. You don't have to look outwardly in order to feel good inwardly. And certainly you don't need to change what's going on inside if the rest of the world is going crazy. You learn how to have a peaceful state of mind here always, regardless if the world's gone nuts. Great proposition, right? Okay, step 1, we've talked about awareness. So we have the 3 pillars, and now we have 7 steps. So I'm going to quickly go through the 7 steps. You with me? Please give me a thumbs up. I need to hear. I need the love, guys. You're my peeps. I want to hear you. I want to feel you. Are you there? Okay, I got it. Thanks. Yeah, I hadn't heard from her for a bit, so maybe you were off having dinner and coming back. I don't know. Yep, okay, good. Thanks. It's not approval seeking, it's the love. It's the love. I love you. Can you feel it? Because you know what? It's so cool. I was sharing this the other night, is that I actually can feel you guys on the other side of the world and the other side of this computer. And that is training, working with energy. So if you want some of that, keep coming back. Okay, step 1. There's a Nasu. Hello, that's great to see you. Step 1 is all about awareness. And as I said, awareness is the key. If we can sustain one thought for 7 minutes, we can move into our enlightenment. What exactly are we aware of? We're aware of our thoughts. We're aware of our beliefs. We're aware of our energy. We're aware of our emanation, our actions. We're also aware of the 3 root poisons: anger, attachment, and ignorance. All right? There are 80,000 delusions. They all come back to 3. And we have what's called the 4 Noble Truths. And the first truth is that suffering exists. The second truth is that there is a root cause to the suffering. And that's where this step comes in. The root cause to our suffering are the delusions, which are these 3 main ones. The third noble truth is that there is a cessation to the suffering. Suffering will stop, guys. I am a testament to that. On some levels, sufferings that I had when I was a kid, gone. And the 4th noble truth is there is a path to the cessation of suffering. And the path, these are the 7 steps. You can go into Christianity and all of those other places. For me, I needed to take from all kinds of places and create a system for me that works. And you know what? Hundreds of people all over the world have adopted this very system that I'm explaining. And they have worked these steps with me in various programs to get the results that I'm receiving myself. And I'll talk about some of those beautiful stories in a minute. So that's step 1. We have a thought. The thought creates a belief. The belief then creates a habit, a behavior, and the habit and the behavior then creates a result. If we don't like the result, we got to go back to what were we thinking? Thought, belief, habit, behavior, outcome, both positively and negatively. Next, step 2, surrender. Now, the other day when I was talking about this, I said, are you more in surrender or more in awareness? A lot of you were in challenge with surrender. So, why do we have to surrender? Because we run out of time. We don't have enough time, 24 hours a day. We can't do it all. We get stressed if we don't surrender. All right? We move into addictive behaviors in order to keep going. The body has a natural rhythm. We, in our wisdom in the West, we have used chemicals and behaviors to override what is natural within our body. And we become addicts and addicted to these substances to keep up appearances of perfection, of people pleasing, of results. They said that the global financial crisis potentially was based on cocaine addicts. People who were always at the computer working with numbers and snorting coke to keep awake, to keep the numbers rolling. So 24/7, they were working with numbers, and lo and behold, guess what we got? Okay? So that's why we need to surrender. There is a God, and it's not you, and it's not me. And we have to co-create, but we have to surrender. We have to surrender the unmanageableness of our mind. Even when things are good, it's unmanageable. That's step 2. Step 3, inventory. So this is a recap for folks who are joining on just this call, or all of you for the last 3-4 videos. And we're moving now also into, what does this mean for me? How do I integrate this stuff? How do I learn this stuff? I need more, and I'm getting there. So hang on, okay? Step 3 is about inventory. We have to purge what's rotten. We have to find the beliefs in us that don't serve us anymore. We have to go through, this is where the 6 stages of early childhood development comes in. Remember, attachment, exploration, identity, belonging, concern, intimacy. So we have to inventory ourselves. Where did we initially create the belief system? And then how did we counteract in a defensive posture? So that's the inventory. We need to go through, figure all this out. Both good and not so good. What served us and what did not serve us. Pillar 3, or step 3, step 4 is now about, this is actually called pulling useless weeds. Because of the analogy of the garden. Okay, you got the garden here. Now it's time to pull out what you don't need. This is about change. We change our friends. We change our beliefs. We change our circle of community. We change our God. We change our actions. We change our defects of character. And what happens when all of that change starts to happen? We get new energy. Nature abhors a vacuum. So we clear this out and we start to change, and we've got this emptiness inside, and whoosh, the divine comes through us. It's no longer about us. That's why it's so important. Go out of your comfort zone, out of your comfort zone. We hear that a lot. The problem with that saying is that people go out of their comfort zone and they have heart palpitation, they get dry mouth, they go into the fight, flight, freeze. And they go, if that's change, I don't want it. I'm happy just being comfortable and small. Nobody ever tells you that on the other side of that, there is a new you, okay? There's a new you with new habits, new behaviors, new beliefs. That's me, right? I am not the person, even in my 30s, that I am today regards money, regards relationship, regards friendship. All those beliefs changed. And what will happen in this step that I didn't speak about the other day is that grief will arise. And grief comes up because we're letting go. And when we're having a death, the death is of a belief system. The death might be of an identity, a piece and part of us that have been with us forever. I'll give you an example. When I started to do this work, it was about 1998, I remember it. I decided to go back to school and get my master's degree. And I always thought I was stupid, right? All the belief systems that I had were, I'm not smart enough, I'm stupid. I come from a family of doctors, right? My mom's a PhD, my dad's a medical doctor, my brother's a PhD, they're all doctors. I'm the stupid one. I went to university, but I quit. So here I am in university, and I'm doing the fight, flight, freeze thing. I'm freezing when I'm in class, and I can't speak. I'm totally frozen. And I went to the dean and I said, you know what, you guys made a mistake. It was a special program for mature students to go back, and there were only 20 that were invited in out of like 400 people, and I was one of the 20, like, oh my God. And I said, you made a mistake. I'm stupid. I'm not supposed to be here. And the dean said to me, who's in that room that's, making you feel like this? And I said, my father. And she said to me, the dean, she said, well, we didn't invite him in here, so please ask him to leave. And I give you permission not to speak for the whole rest of the term, because I said, I read everything twice. I'm so anxious. And when it comes my turn to say something, I just can't speak. And she said, I give you permission not to speak. And I was trying to change. You see, this is the example around this fight, flight, freeze thing. As soon as she gave me that permission, I relaxed. And then I could start shifting. And that's when I started to see, oh, maybe I'm not so stupid. And then the grief came. I had to grieve my identity that I had held up to that point that I was stupid. And I'm totally serious about this. I really, really believed it. I shake my head now. I mean, preparing for this course, like the amount of information in here blows my mind. Like, where do I put it all? How do I learn all this? However, I had to come from a place of feeling stupid to here I am today in order for my humility to grow. Okay? Humility is another topic for another time. But we need divine help to help us change. We can't do it alone. We need each other. That's step 4, change. Step 5, perseverance. Okay, this is where we get whacked. A lot of us come to these 4 steps, and then we get hit. Especially as we age, it's like, oh my God, more? What happens in this stage is actually beauty is created physically through perseverance. Complexion can shift and change. Patience is a virtue. And as we develop more patience through our perseverance, in Buddhism we call it wearing the armor, wearing the jewelry of patience. Because how can you rattle somebody who's patient? You can't. You can't poke them and it's like they're patient. With perseverance, self-trust grows, self-esteem grows, self-cherishing and character begins to grow. I was on a walk just now before beginning here, and I was hearing a man talk to some kids out there. And his voice was it's like, gosh, I recognize that voice. And what I know to be true is that, I said this before, everybody holds a particular frequency. And people who hold a particular frequency often talk the same way. Their voice has the same intonations. So that's why you can meet people all over the world and you think that they're a doppelganger for somebody else that you know. But really, all they're doing is repeating all the same patterns as somebody else on the other side of the world. And their voice is exactly the same. You ever find that? You see people and you meet them again and they're like, God, they look so similar. That's because their patterns are similar. And as their patterns are similar, their physique looks the same. Their voice is the same. Interesting. Their tones are the same. When we move into perseverance, we go beyond that into our authentic self and who we truly are, who we are made to be, who we came here to be, purpose. Yes, it is. Somebody just said, isn't that mind-blowing? Yeah. Consciousness is about watching patterns. That's what consciousness is, seeing patterns. I read that somewhere as a definition. Heightened consciousness is seeing patterns, repeating. So at my point, I can meet somebody and they can tell me something about their, something that's ailing them. And I'll just ask a few questions, about parenting or whatever. And I can nail that they've been wounded between the ages of 4 and 5 or 3 and 7, right? Or whatever, wherever on the childhood path, there's been a wounding. And I know what the antidote is immediately. And I tell them. And they're like, oh, it's because we're all humans. You go to India, you go to Africa, you go to England, you go to Canada, like wherever. There's patterns. We're here to go beyond the patterns, to love, to that unconditioned state. That's where freedom exists. The thing is, we first have to go through all the crap to find out what the patterns are. Okay, here we go. That's step 5. Step 6, compassion. So once we find out all these massive patterns that we're in, we can have compassion for ourselves. We can be gentle and soft. We don't feel isolated anymore because actually, as I said, that person down the street is the same pattern as I do, right? And those people that rub you the wrong way, they probably have the same pattern as you, right? They're a mirror. We learn with compassion about interdependence. There's a concept here that I learned in therapy, which is called anti-dependence. So we know what independence is. It's being, outwardly strong and doing things by ourselves. We know what codependence is. It's sort of like hooking our wagon to somebody else's wagon at all times. That's codependence. Living in somebody else's pocket. Our happiness depends on their happiness. That's codependence. Anti-dependence, which is also a delusion and a dysfunction, is when we actually put stops up with people and say no. No. Somebody offers help. No, I don't need your help. They offer money. No, I don't need money. They offer food. No, I don't want your basket of fruit that just came off your tree and you're offering it to me. No, I don't need a ride, I'll walk. That's called anti-dependence. It's not talked about a lot, but that's on the spectrum of even beyond independence, and it keeps us isolated. With compassion, we learn about interdependence. We learn to give and to receive in equal proportions. And in order to receive, we have to be able to surrender, and we have to be able to give correctly, because there is an incorrect way to give. And most of the Western world gives to get. And that has to stop. It has to be from a generous place. Service and compassion towards self is paramount. If we don't have compassion for ourselves, we don't forgive ourselves, we don't accept ourselves along the path, then how the heck are we going to be able to be compassionate and approving of others and being non-judgmental? People often say to me, I'm more judgmental of others than I am of myself. I can accept others more than me. I would maintain that that's not true acceptance or true compassion, because you don't have it here. There's a disconnect. And it's from an intellectual place that you're being helpful, as opposed from a heart place. The more compassion you have, the more abundant you're going to be. Absolutely. If you're patient and have compassion for another human being, it'll come around. Maybe not tomorrow. There's a woman I got a note from. I've been receiving emails all week. Like, thank you. I feel blessed. And the woman who's sent me this email, I'm sure she's going to recognize herself. She was a tax client of mine. And as I said to you before, I worked with people with their taxes through spiritual principles. And I was patient with her. And she had a student loan then. That's why she came to me. She didn't know what to do. She was in a panic. She was in fight, flight, freeze. She was in unworthiness and all of that kind of stuff. And I worked with her year after year after year. And she had this sort of albatross of a student loan. And I just said, slowly, slowly, be gentle to your capacity and persevere. She looked to me and she said her student loan completely paid off. All right. So it's just these small triumphs. If we persevere, we have compassion for others. They have their moments. They have their beauty. Does that sound like a good proposition? Now I need some thumbs up. Are you still there with me? Are you working with me? Are you following? I'm almost through the steps. I'm almost through the recap here. Yeah? Let's hear it. Yeah? Good. I'm seeing it. You're showing up. Nice. Often we can get distracted. You can be checking your phone. Oh, I've heard all this stuff already. I'm putting in new stuff. okay? You can be having dinner. Come on back. Be in one place at one time. Try at least. Step 7, be, do, have into the authentic self. I think I caught somebody. I just got a little smiley face. Be, do, have. The source is your employer. Money is not your source. The source is the source. You have to go beyond your beliefs again and again and again. You have to keep your information up to date. You have to realize your DNA is changing, and you have to put your beingness in front of your doingness. Absolutely necessary. The heart is the master. The head is the servant. And way, way, way too much in the Western world, we lead with our head, and maybe we follow with our heart. But usually, we just lead with our head and we've left our heart behind. We're not feeling at all. So, there's the recap. I am now going to ask you to stand up. I'm actually going to stand up. I want you guys to stretch. Oh, pardon me. I want you to stretch a little bit over your head. Oh. Okay. I want you to come back to my voice. There's much, much to say. There's so much to learn. I know. So we want to integrate it slowly. Have a little bit more that I want to talk to you about. Let me take a sip of your water. So can I get a thumbs up? Who's still sitting at the computer? Can you give me a yep? A yep? Yep. I get these smiley faces. So I must be finding out people go and come back. And I'm just noticing somebody saying, I thought it was 30 minutes. The first ones were shorter. This last one is much, much longer. Don't worry, it's all going to be given to you on a recap, a replay. So all of it's on a replay. You can also fast forward on the replay to the place where we stopped, which is really great. You'll get the email. If you're in through this feed already, you'll get the emails. If you're not on the Zoom feed, but you're on Facebook, please go and hook up to the link. And on that link, which we'll put again on the Enlightenment and Money page, maybe we can make a note of that, Esther, to put back the link up, because that's where you're going to get all the downloads, and you're going to get all the replays. You get all the emails to keep you in the loop. And I understand, Emerald, that you've only just gotten invited, and hey, that's okay. That's okay, because you can get all the other stuff. You can go listen to the other videos, and you can listen to the end of this. Why we said 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, is so people could meet us on their lunch hour or their dinner hour. So it wasn't so arduous. This last day, though, there's a lot to cover. So I apologize. No, I don't apologize. Let's cancel that. If you love me, you're going to be here. You're going to listen. Or let's change that. If you like what I'm saying, put it that way. Put it that way. If you like the information, you're just going to, you're going to want to know more. Okay, so, hey guys, what is the big, big promise that I want to give to you? The big, big promise I want to give is that if you do your inner work, you step by step, sequentially do your inner work, you cannot but succeed. And if you follow these actual steps, and we're going to move now into the modules and the program that I've created. And I want to go through this program with you so that you can see how the application, the integration between what I'm saying and how it fits for you. If you follow these steps and integrate and do these exercises and the meditations, absolutely your life will change. There is no question. You will be able to attract people, situations, money. You'll have more peace. You'll have better boundaries. You'll have friendships that are true intimacy. You'll have peace and your health. I'll tell you some stories shortly. I'll tell you some stories shortly about, one woman with her health, one woman with relationships, one woman with money. Like, they're just, the women and men, because there's men who've come through this program too, they have had paradigm shifts and they've never looked back. You will become the person that you've always dreamed to be. The one that is the leader, right? The one that has the knowledge and the wisdom. And I offer this program so that you can take some of this and go out and pass it on. I know there's one woman on here who she's already written a book around her own soul journey. And there's more, and there's more. Like I say, there's 6 levels. So you may be right now reactive. You may be a bit isolated. You may want a deeper connection with God. You may be a chronic people pleaser or approval seeker. You may be all of that. You may be the head leader of your at work, whether it's your nursing station or whether it's at your social work center, or you may be the head. And it's time to nurture you. Put in boundaries and shift and change. It is not always to be seen out in the world to be that leader. You have to have inner leadership so that the greatness will show up. We go from goodness to greatness. Okay? You may possibly have been doing free courses, little bits here and there, like these 4 videos, fabulous. However, at some point you have to say to yourself, okay, I need to commit. I need to get serious about this. I need to spend at least an hour a week on myself. I need to listen to one teacher week by week sequentially to ingest new information, because I need new information to change my belief systems. Move away from shelf-help and start investing really seriously in yourself. When I started this work many, many years ago, I did every possible, and in my day, there weren't a lot of courses. So that's why I did so much retreat. People weren't teaching. We were all in the closet, those spiritual beings, us who were raising consciousness. It's only been in the last 5 to 10 years that it's even kind of legit. Okay? This course that I created because I wished I had it. And if I had this course, things would have accelerated way quicker. I know so. I mean, the stuff that I know now, man, if I had known it 15, 20 years ago, if I'd put this stuff into place. I remember when I learned about acceptance. I remember when I learned about forgiveness. I was in my 30s. I was in my 40s before I learned how to say, I'm sorry. Because I never was taught. Okay? So what kind of teaching do you want? The teachings that I'm giving, some of which date all the way back to the Buddha. My lineage, my teacher, we can name every single teacher back to the time of the Buddha. We can put names to it. That's how pure this lineage is. So the information you're getting, some of it from the Buddhist context, is absolutely pure. I'm a human being, so I might make mistakes. However, the teachings that I have learned and embodied, especially around mindfulness, concentration, meditation, the stages, acceptance, surrender, all of that comes from that background. We say in Buddhism, you need 4 things. You need a teacher. You need the teachings. You need a community. And you need accountability. We say it's like a doctor. The doctor is the teacher. You need the medicine to help you change. You need the nurse or the community to hold you as you change. And then the accountability overall helps you grow. If you don't correct yourself at the source, the actions just get repeated and there's nobody there to help you correct. You can become, and this is my prayer for you, that diamond, that pristine diamond presence that you were brought here in your baby form to be. With all that cack removed, that diamond essence will just shine. You can have both spirit and money. All right? You don't have to compromise. You can have relationships. You can become a money magnet. So you don't, you don't get guilty or feel shame when money comes to you, right? Correcting your beliefs at source from lack to absolute abundance. So, can I get some permission? Now, this, you must give me a yes. I want to hear from you. Well, you don't have to give me a yes, but I want to hear from you. I need your permission to tell you a little bit more about the features of these 10 modules, about this program coming up. So, I'm seeing it. Okay, good, good. I need you to know that I've been brought to the planet to teach this stuff. Absolutely, there is no question. I am here to do this for you. Thank you. I can see the yeses, and I understand people must go and return to the video, and you're going to get all of this in the comfort of your own home. So let us begin with some of the features. What I've got is, it's an online program in 10 modules, and I split it up into 2 units. So modules 1 to 5, and then 6 to 10. Overall, it's about 16 hours of teachings that gets drip fed to you week to week. So it doesn't overwhelm you. And it's about an hour to an hour 10, 15 a week. One woman who actually has done the program online, she said she loved it because every day she did a little bit. So they're broken down into videos, and each module is broken down. It's got multiple videos. It's got download sheets, worksheets. It's got a reading, me reading, and a commentary. It's got an intro to the topic, and then a conclusion to the topic. So there's all these elements in every single module that you get. And each of the videos are broken down by time, so you can look through and you can see, oh, okay, I got 10 minutes. I'm going to watch this video. Or I want something on forgiveness. And I saw that this week there's the video on forgiveness. I'm going to watch that one. So each of the modules is very clearly delineated how much time they are, so you can pace yourself. It's a self-paced course, and you get it week by week by week. All right? So what are we going to cover in each of the pillars, or each of the modules? Module 1, they encompass, a few modules encompass each of the pillars and the steps. Module 1, we do a self-hatred transformation meditation on how to counteract self-hatred and bolster up self-worth. We talk about purpose of life. I talk there about the qualities of energy. All right, the scientific qualities of energy. Energy is so module 1. It's all about pillar 1, relationship to self, deals with the purpose of life, deals with energy, deals with the creation of our conscious beliefs. Because we create beliefs consciously. So that's the first level. We want to know consciously what we're thinking. It deals with guilt. Because as soon as we start seeing our beliefs, we feel guilt. That first module, we begin to dig into money. Money madness questionnaires in that first module, to find out what your beliefs around money are. And we go into the inner child. So that first module is all about relationship to self. Second module, again, we're dealing with the creation of beliefs. The shame now. Shame starts to appear as we start getting conscious of our beliefs. Then we start learning about how to dialogue with that inner child, the age of that child, and what are the corrective measures and antidotes to deal with that little one, okay? If we're feeling competitive, then we go into a certain section of the download and find out what the antidote is. Module 3, this is to deal with pillar 2, which is relationship to source energy. This is a big module. Module 3 is about the creation of unconscious beliefs. All right, this is when we really, really dig. This is when we're going down and we see some parts of ourselves. I show you where your unconscious beliefs grow from, where they are in your psyche, and how to shift out of them. Okay, I have a mechanism, sort of sequential steps on, if you see this, then you do this, and we shift out and move through. And this kickback voice will show up, and how to counteract a kickback voice. Conflict, we talk about conflict in here, what it is and how to pivot out of it with love, with grace, moving into flow. The letting go prayer here. Remember what I said? This is all spiritual development. Is about how much we can let go of, not how much we can attain. Not how much we can attain. Module 4, dealing with the source energy continued. Okay, again, module 4 is a big, big module. It's about integrating money beliefs into our psyche. This is the module I teach you about EFT. So there's 2 or 3 little videos, and I go right through the sequence of 12 tap touch points on when you're changing a belief system, how and where on the body we need to touch to shift us into the new belief, out of the fight, flight, freeze, into that new energy. We learn about acceptance. There's a video on acceptance. We learn, and I teach you all about David Hawkins and his system of equating feelings and consciousness to a numeric value, and where on the spectrum we are through our feelings and our frequency. Hawking's work is amazing, and I speak at length about this. You know, lower energies of despair, of anger, of worthlessness, moving into optimism and happiness, and then moving into higher frequencies of joy and peace. Okay? Module 5, this is dealing with relationship to others now. And this is talking about money. This is the money module. Module 5 is money, 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 money. We talk about, are you an under-earner? Are you an overspender? We talk about money as energy. I taught a course at university, 2002, I believe it was, 2007, at the SFU down in Vancouver, an 8-week course called Money and the Meaning of Life. So I'm integrating meaning around all our beliefs with money. The whole course that I'm talking about, all these 10 modules, it's all woven and thread through. This module in particular is like full on. How to actually change a belief around your money, and you can change a belief around anything. Again, it's step by step by step with actual, downloads for you to follow. Module 6 is all about our delusions, karma, joy, and how joy and suffering are like this. We speak about the noble truths and moving into the delusions. So I have a video just on anger, how to counteract anger. What is anger? Move into attachment. What is attachment? It is the focus outwardly all the time on just the good aspects of life. Ignorance. This video is a critical video of the whole program in Module 6. It's talking about the 2 types of ignorance and moving us to wisdom, the 2 levels of reality that we must walk in, the divine, ultimate, absolute level of reality, and the material and the physical level. I previously said there's 80,000 delusions. This is the module where you find out about all kinds of goodies. When we don't understand the true nature of reality, which is the state of ignorance, we move into suffering. So again and again and again, we have to come to understand what is the true nature of reality. I talk about delusions and debt and the psychology behind debting and the psychology of and the delusions around overspending or under-earning, okay? Why we debt or why we overspend and why we under-earn. There are 8 simple must-do practices that come into this module that if you follow sequentially, it'll sort of snap you back into your alignment. Module 7 deals with surrender. Surrender, surrender. Here you're starting to learn prayers, learning activities, prayers that I've used for the last 20, 25 years. Serenity prayer, the St. Francis prayer. This is about the correlation between forgiveness and poverty mentality, poverty state of mind. That doesn't mean we have to forgive immediately, but we have to understand what and who we have to forgive in order to get over the mindset that we're poor in spirit in some way, we have nothing to offer, or that we're so great, we're God's gift to the planet, and we think that we have so much to offer, whereas in fact, we have to get right-sized. We're neither lower than anybody or higher than anybody, but we come into right size with the world. There are 5 stages of forgiveness that I speak about in this module. I suggest readings and books, and why we need to continue to keep our information up to date, and why these particular books. I give a coloring exercise in this module to get us into our bodies. All right. Module 8 and 9. These 2 modules in particular are, how would I say, they are the absolute icing on the cake. These 2 modules are all about the inner child. They are worth the price of the entire course alone. Okay? In as much as I have stage by stage within the inner child development talked about not only what the wounding might be or what the good kind of child would look like, but what are the antidotes? All right? I also talk about herbs and oils and actions and things to drink to counteract some of the energies that are going to be in the kickback when you're trying to heal these stages of early childhood development. Okay, for example, attachment. I spend in Module 8, most of Module 8 talking about attachment, because so many of us, this is where our woundedness is. Okay? This is where safety and security comes from. I mean, the whole world is in fear. That's why I've spent so much emphasis and so much time in making all these little videos on just attachment, because that's where scarcity comes from. That's where the fear comes from. That's where we don't feel safe. That's like, it's all just constrict and then control, fear, and we never blossom. So I'll give you an example of an antidote, especially on the early childhood development. This is where you learn how to reparent yourself in a pre-verbal state, 0 to 18 months. So this is for you, Laura, in particular. So pre-verbal, we don't have language. So we can't heal through language. So in this state, example is we eat pablum with our left and our right. Like we eat mushy food, we eat mashed potatoes or pablum, and we just allow the food to go all over us. And we feel the emotions that we felt when we were that age. We make cooing sounds. We look at our fingers and toes in amazement. We basically regress with consciousness. And when we have that consciousness, that's when the healing happens. So Module 8 and 9, massive, massive value right here. We talk about the expectations of a child in this, an attachment or any of the stages of development. And then, again, the antidotes. 7 to 13, I want to give you another example because I said earlier I would give you this. 7 to 13, because somebody actually mentioned in the Facebook feed during the week about not feeling like belonging. And this was a wounding I had. And there's a lot of shame around our body at this age. We're learning about peer development, and also our body is developing physically. So we're self-conscious. And we, as adults, we may not reach our professional goals because we've had wounding between the ages of 7 and 13. We may have fear of public speaking. Okay, so this is how it manifests in adulthood and how we need to apply the antidotes. So in this module particularly, this is where you're going to find out some of those antidotes. We need to feel some of the discomfort with consciousness. So we don't just go into a network meeting and kind of go, okay, I'm going to feel uncomfortable and then I'm going to get out of here. It's like we befriend ourselves and we have to try new actions with consciousness, not just willy-nilly, I'm going to dive in. We're now learning to reparent ourselves. So this module is all about that. We learn in module 10, so that's 8 and 9, module 10, this is all about your personal program. How to create the program that's suited exactly for you. How to set a motivation, an intention in the morning. What readings to pick. I give you a whole spectrum. I give you a book list, in fact. Good meditation postures. What are optimum postures? There are 4 main ones. Sitting, lying, standing, and walking. But there are things when we're doing each of those postures that we have to be aware of. This last module brings us to a state of freedom. Okay? By the time you've worked through all 10, you're learning so much about yourself and you're feeling such a sense of empowerment and peace. There, like the one woman, she said, like, I got to visit with you every day, Ange. And this sense of, you've got my back. She said, like, I felt like you got my back, you understand me every single day. Now, how good is that? How beautiful is that? If you worked with me alone, one-on-one, you would be spending, I would say, in excess of 18 sessions, 18 to 30 sessions, depending on whether you're a quick learner or a slow learner. And that alone would cost you between $10,000 and $18,000, that work. And, you know, people want to do that kind of work. I'm open to it. That's the price point, though, in order to work with me one-on-one. And I'm happy to engage in that. However, I know that I can be way more helpful in this modality, helping way more people. You have me every day in your house, and with these modules, you have the capacity to interact with me. So you can leave comments and I comment back. So there is an interactive element. The thing is you've got to put a stake in the sand and say, from this day forward to that, I'm going to choose to invest in me. So what, drumroll please, is the price? These 10 modules, downloads, workbooks, interaction with me, plus a whole bunch of bonuses, but I'm going to talk about the bonuses in a sec. $997 American dollars, $997 US. Usually the program is $14.97. I'm giving a discount to the first 27 participants. Okay, so it's limited. The spots are limited. I only have so much time that I can interact with people. So I'm having to limit. And you have your self-paced program to interact with me. So $997. How do you get it? How do you actually come to buy this program? So what you want to do is, and maybe Esther, you could put on here now the link for people so that they can go and click on the link. And I'm going to show people how you can go through the process by yourself. Because there's a link, there's a page, you fill your information out. There's a ton of information in there. There's another video of me if you like. And then you press the pay button. Simple. You can, we also have payment plans. Because I know people have challenges with their cash flow. And we've broken it down into 4 payments of $275. Okay, so I'm going to do a little exercise with you now, and I'm going to click on the link and show you exactly what to do. Those of you who are in the Zoom, there's the link in the chat box. You simply click on it, and I'm going to click on it right now, and it's going to take us to another place, and I'm going to right now share with you my screen so that you can see what I see. And here we go. I apologize. This is all new to me. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to go to where there is the Enlightenment and Money page. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Maybe Hannah or Esther can give me a thumbs up that you can actually see my screen. Okay, share screen, share screen. There we go. So what you do is you press this little button here, purchase program now. And when you press that button, and there's a whole bunch of information here. Here's the course breakdown. You can look through what all the different modules and steps are. And there's beautiful people who've done the same course, what they've said. And then there's a bunch of bonuses. And I'm going to talk about the bonuses, but I want to show you first how to purchase, because you may just want to go, okay, Angie, I don't want to hear anymore. Let me just purchase. So you press on this pink button right at the top or right at the bottom, purchase program now. Boom. Then you put your name, you fill in your name right here, like Angela. Boom. Last name, Hryniuk. Boom. Your email address. And this is where you pick $997 or $275 for 4 months. And you put in your credit card information, expiry date of your credit card, you get your summary, and you complete your purchase. Just press there. Really super easy. The team that I'm working with has made my life so amazingly easy, in as much as look at how beautiful this is and look at how much you're getting. They are helping me make it available right now for you. So let us go back to me for a second, and I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I can be proud of myself that I switched out of that. The bonuses. Okay, so let me tell you about some of the bonuses. One of the bonuses is a 30-minute consult with me, one-on-one, and you get a Calendly place where you just pick the time that's good for you, and we connect up. So that's a real easy thing. It's a 30-minute call. It's worth $300. That's of value. Then we've got a closed Facebook group where, again, you have interaction with me and all the participants all over the world that are in this program right now. So you can sign up, get that bonus. Again, go to that link, click on the link, purchase the program if this bonus is something you're interested in. Third bonus, we've got 2 meditation CDs. Now I've got them here. You get downloads of both the Inner Child meditation CD and Sitting in the Light. So I have created 4 different meditation CDs over time. These 2, bonus to you, gift to you. So you have all my not all my meditations, but meditations so that you can sit in the comfort of your home and repeat these meditations. In the modules, there are different meditations. Okay, so I am just I love to meditate. I've recorded the meditations. You get them. Fourth bonus is an inventory template. It also includes, I believe, the 20 activities that give you joy. And then the template on how to do a personal inventory. If you recall, step 3 is about change and inventory. So you get a download of that. The value of that, again, how do you put value on this? But we're, I would say about $400, $397, absolutely. Those CDs, a couple of $100, not so much the physical CD. I mean, we can get downloads of that. It's the value behind the thousands of hours that I've spent in meditation that comes through the actual CD. All right, in my voice, the tone of the voice. How do you put a price on that? But we're living in a Western world where monetary value. So we've got a value to that as well. And where is the personal inventory? The ebook. 5th bonus, the ebook. The 3 pillars and 7 steps. So you can follow along. You can read this process. Everybody learns in different ways. That gal that I was talking about who loved the online program, she would read part of the book and then she would do a module. Okay, so she was really immersing herself. And then there's a 6th bonus that's not even on there, and I didn't put it on, and that is there's little surprises that come. So we may do a call all together, spontaneously. I like to send little videos of encouragement and motivation throughout our time together. So once you're in my tribe, once you're in my family, we're forever connected. So I love to send little gifts and surprises all along the way. I've got a Dalai Lama diary. I've got little books and PDFs. And so you're going to get little surprises. That's the 6th bonus. So what is the cost again? $997. It's almost a 40% saving from what I was charging earlier, $14.97. And it's for a limited time only. Okay, guys, there's only 27 spots. And then I shut the doors. So again, there's a link on Facebook if you want to go through and sign in, if you're ready right now. Those of you who have questions, there's a little box on the top that says book a call. If you have questions, I am more than happy to get on a call. We can just chat quickly about what your concerns are, what your worries are, what your questions are, you know. Maybe you have special circumstances. Let's chat. I want to hear from you. So you book a call again. It'll hook you into my calendar, and you can book something in the next few days. All weekend I'm around. Want to hear from you, okay? So $997 or 4 payments of $275. There you go. Go there now. Have a look. Book a call. You may have some questions. I'm more than willing to chat with you. This is, I would say this is a definite shortcut to your spiritual and financial abundance. This is a big investment into you. All right? So I've done it. I've done the work, the hard yards, and now I've compiled it all, synthesized it all into this elixir sequentially of what to do, what steps. I want to just share just 1 or 2 stories of some brilliance that I've seen from this program. A woman in Sydney, she came to my workshop. So I used to do these live 2 days and then moving them online, as I said to you earlier. She came and we ascertained a belief system she was having about her mother. She didn't even realize it. Her work was going down the tubes. So her manifesting ability she was really struggling. And we got to a belief system about her mother. Now she had in her work a business partner who was a woman who was exactly like her mother, had the same beliefs and kept triggering this person, this woman. Kept triggering her, and therefore she was stunned. She was in freeze mode, so she wasn't being able to thrive. We got to her core belief, and she yanked that out. And I kid you not, this is what happened. The woman that was her business partner, her name is Jo. So Jo started to change. And as she started to change, her business partner, it just was like it wasn't fitting anymore. It wasn't, the codependence wasn't there. So the business partner was feeling like, something's not right. And that change back syndrome, I want you to change back, right? What ended up happening is the business partner left. And this is what happens when we change, others may leave us for the good. The next contract Jo got, after doing the work with me, I thought it was $7 million. Her best contract to that point was $1 million. The next contract she got, I thought was 7, but I recently talked to her. It was $12 million. The person walked in the door and wanted to work with the agency. It was like she had opened up this vacuum and in came all this beautiful energy in the form of a new contract. Based on one primary core belief that she needed to shift. Another woman, I spoke about her earlier, but I want to sort of pull it out a little bit more. A woman in Perth with her health. So she had this fibromyalgia, and she couldn't get to the belief system why her health kept failing. And we found out that was her attention. That was her way of getting attention in early childhood. That she would get attention from parents and friends and recognition from school that if she was sick. Except it wasn't serving her now. She's a vet, and it wasn't serving her as an adult because she kept getting sick. Nobody was paying attention to her anymore. Nobody was giving her, kudos and take care and everything. They were basically leaving her alone. She had victimized herself so much that she was now a chronic victim. And she was like, enough of this. I don't want this. Again, she worked these steps and these pillars. And lo and behold, as I shared with you the other day, first of all, she fired a bunch of staff because they were in codependence and there was sickness. She had to let them go. And then she hired new staff with new energy who had way more health going on. She could back off because they would run the business. She started a second clinic, and her health regained her total health. Okay? So this is not kind of illusory, delusionary thinking. It's very, very concrete. Her practice, she's got multiple practices now, thriving. That's her financial freedom. I mentioned a woman the other day as well about relationship. Now, I'm gonna share a different story than I did the other day. This woman, after she did my work, boundaries. It was so hard to put boundaries in place with her children and with her partner because she was like, she wanted to be a good mom. She felt guilty if she put a boundary in place. And I said, you're not being of service to your children. We found out that the core wounding for her was lack of self-worth. So she had to shift that and start loving herself and worthy of herself and putting up boundaries to say, you know what, that's not acceptable. Or now things are going to change. You've got to pick up your socks and clean your room. You've got to take care of the dinners. You've got to, and with her partner, she started putting up absolute boundaries. Lo and behold, that energy started to shift. They started to respect her more because she respected herself. It always comes back to us. Okay? This is not pie in the sky. I know some of you on this call will have already done a ton of work. And it's time to upgrade. It's time to move into deeper levels of self-awareness and relationship to self. As I said earlier, there are 6 levels. Work continues. More strategies. We need more tools. You're going to get a whole toolkit. Meditations. You're going to get time with me. You're going to get all those beautiful bonuses. My prayer for you is that you prosper, both in spirit and financially, with objects, opportunities, people, peace of mind, all manner of prosperity. That's my definition, right? Health, peace of mind, time, relationships, and money. So I'm going to hang around here a little bit if there are any questions, and I'm going to jump over to see on Facebook if there's anything going on there and answer any questions. Okay, so I'm here for a little while to answer some questions. $997. You go to that link that's on the right side of the page, click on it, and begin the process of putting your name in, choosing which credit card you want to use, if you want to do a payment plan, if you want to do it all in one hit. It's all good. It's all good. And proceed. You can begin this course today. All right? We get zipped into a Kajabi membership site, and it begins. So there's no need to wait on your prosperity. You can jump in now. And I am thrilled that you've all managed to now come to this second video and watch it right to the end. I feel blessed. I feel honored. I know right now that people are going to be watching the replay on this because of the glitch of the internet. And, divine willing, I'm not in control. I have to surrender. There is a God, and it's not me. My prayer for you is you come and join me and learn some of what I have and how I got to where I am. So I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to dedicate all of the merit that we have created for the last 4 days, all the positivity, because I know that that positive energy that we've created has shifted the planet. And it has shifted the planet towards the good. We have counteracted fear and negativity just by our motivation, our higher state of consciousness as you listen to these calls and as I teach them. And when we dedicate, that merit is sealed. So maybe just take a moment and go internally and close your eyes and just give thanks. Give thanks. Firstly, having gratitude. And then, where would you like to dedicate this merit? To your own spiritual development, to a friend or family member who's sick or suffering, or to the planet? And I'm going to leave you with that. Go inwardly, dedicating, knowing that you make a difference. It's time to upgrade your information and time to have a guide who walks with you as you walk this path. I'd love to be that guide for you. Many, many blessings. I love you. Take care, keep the faith, and we'll see some of you in the program. Enlightenment and money. Hello. Bye.